what's triggered me wanting to look elsewhere outside of the hospital-based care model for delivery was that I initially just didn't want a C-section, and I was looking at the statistics behind birth in the United States, and well, once I realized I didn't want a C-section, well, I probably shouldn't have the epidural because that doubles your rate of C-section. Well then, okay, if I'm not going to have an epidural, how am I going to get through this? So I started looking at options for natural-based care and realized that it's very difficult to have a natural childbirth in many of the hospitals in the US. So that led me to trying to look for an out-of-hospital facility because I didn't want a home birth, so that led me to the birth center. Before doing any amount of research, I thought it was a huge, big, scary thing, but the more I read, the more I learned, and the more I talked with the midwives, I realized that it isn't necessarily a big, scary thing. So they helped to put my mind at ease beforehand. I guess what comforted me was knowing that I'm making the best decision for me. I'm basing this off, any birth has risks. Anywhere you go is going to have risk. It's just what are those risks going to be? And I also know that we were doing prenatal testing. They consult an OB if anything does come up. So I was just comforted with the care that I received. The midwives would always bring up, okay, the statistics on this test are this. And then they would ask, do you want to have this test? So everything was always an option for me. I really liked the evidence-based model of care. It all went very smoothly. Everything was very, very calm. I mean, I was definitely in pain. I was uncomfortable towards the end, but I never felt like I couldn't do this. I remember thinking when our drive over that like 4 more hours of this would be ridiculous. But then I also remembered from my class at the birth center that when you're starting to feel like you can't do this anymore, it's usually the end anyway. So it went a lot more smoothly than I thought it was going to be. The most rewarding aspect of the birth was when she was laid on my chest, and she was so tiny. But I remember thinking at the time how she was huge, like this tiny person just came out of me. So I felt like she was huge, and I remember holding her and just being like, we did it. I felt a lot more confident in my ability to be a mother, and I felt a lot more confident in my ability to take care of my daughter. I felt that, we did this. I felt sort of on our own or rogue because we were out of a hospital. But in working with the midwives in the birth center, it was just a lot easier than I thought. So I figured if I can do this, I can do anything. I would tell anyone who's on the fence about where they want to deliver their baby to research it as much as possible, because the more information you have, the better off you are. So come to the birth center, visit the birth center, see what it's like, and then go to the hospital and see what it's like and ask people what really happens. Are the values that you have, where do they match? And for me, that was an easy choice. It was the birth center.